The first place to go when you're optimizing files with Adobe Media Encoder is to go up to Preferences. And there are several preference settings that can make your life go a lot faster, and they start with the General tab right here. Here's the settings I want you to pay attention to. Make sure that parallel encoding is enabled. Not all codecs support having multiple processors compress at the same time. H.264 is notorious for its inability to support parallel processing. Hardware acceleration is a much more efficient way of compressing for H.264, but formats like ProRes do support parallel encoding. This does no harm and can definitely make things faster when it's turned on. Another option is up here, Show Queue Elapsed Encoding Time. What this allows you to do is you can see, as you are encoding, how long that particular file has been encoding. This is a display function. It doesn't necessarily change or optimize the software, but it does allow you to see what's going on. And I want to show you a hidden way that you can find out what's going on with files by accessing the Adobe Media Encoder log, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. One that I find really, really useful is this one down here. I always check Specify Output File Destination. I never have to worry about where my compressed files are located. So on my second drive, here I've got a Thunderbolt drive connected, I'm going to create a folder called Compressed Files. I create that folder, and I use this folder for both Adobe Media Encoder and for Handbrake and for MPEG Streamclip and for Episode and for Squeeze and Compressor, anything else. I always go to the same folder. That way I know that if the file has been compressed, it's going to live inside that folder. If it isn't in that folder, I didn't compress it and I need to compress it. So I always set the output file destination. That means that when I bring a new file into Media Encoder, the destination is already set and I don't have to worry about it. Video rendering, you always want to make sure that you have GPU acceleration turned on because it will make things faster. So the three speed ups that you've got here are parallel encoding, setting the output destination so you never have to worry about where your file goes, and make sure that the Mercury playback engine is set to GPU acceleration. Then go to memory. When you're working with memory, you want to make sure that you give as much RAM as possible to your Adobe applications. I assign 3 gigabytes for everything else, and whatever I have available, this is a laptop and I've got 16 gigs on it, so I want to assign 13 gigs of RAM to all the Adobe applications. When Adobe applications are not running, this includes After Effects and Premiere, Prelude, Adobe Media Encoder, Photoshop, and SpeedGrade. When one of those applications is not running, the RAM is released and it's available for other applications. But when they are running, it's pulling most of the system resources away from other applications and giving it to a Media Encoder. The more RAM that Adobe has, the faster it runs. And assigning 2 or 3 gigabytes to everything else, which is what I've done here, does not prevent you from doing email or web browsing. Those don't take a lot of RAM at all. But Media Encoder can use as much RAM as you can give it. So those are how I configure preferences. This has been an excerpt of a recent Power Up webinar looking at how to record great sound. And for the complete version of this online training, please visit our store at larryjordan.com/store and look for Webinar 162. By the way, if you need to stretch your training dollars, a membership to our video training library saves you money and time. You can access all of our videos for a low monthly price of only $19.99. That's more than 1,200 movies, hundreds of hours of training, all in depth and all up to date. Plus, members can attend any of our Power Up webinars for free. Our training covers Apple and Adobe software. We update it every week. And for more information, visit larryjordan.com/membership. And thanks.